Welcome to Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, the podcast that gives you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like being a woman in the middle who's over 50 and following her entrepreneurial dreams. Grab a superhero cape, girlfriend, because you deserve one. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach and Midlife Mentor, Suzy Rosenstein, and I am excited to inspire you with interviews that feature all of this midlife amazingness. Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to the show. We have another really exciting interview ahead of us about the experience of building a bookkeeping and business mentoring firm as a single mom after losing your husband to cancer. Today, you're going to be meeting Krista McLellan, a woman in the middle entrepreneur who helps entrepreneurs set up their business to succeed and get comfy with the F word, that's finances, so they can get on the road to financial freedom. Welcome to the show, Krista. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Suzy. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. It's such a great topic. I know we're going to have a great conversation about your midlife entrepreneur story. We're going to be talking about your business, what's going really well, also what midlife issues might be getting in your way here or there, what you want next going forward, all the things, and just things going on for you in your life as well as being a business owner. So let's get started with my favorite first question. How old are you? How long have you been an entrepreneur? And what it is that you do in the world? Take it away.
I am 55 now. We call it double nickels, and I love that I'm 55 now. And I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years.
Wow.
It was not always in this business, but yeah, 25 years of this, of learning some hard lessons along the way.
So you started out in healthcare, right?
Started out in healthcare. I was a hospice worker, and then I ended up working for an infectious disease doctor when I became pregnant with my first. And I didn't love the idea of being around infectious diseases as a pregnant woman.
I was just thinking that.
And back then, we weren't wearing masks and having all the protections. I was just seeing my patients as is, and so I decided to stay home and start a home daycare.
Wow. Why did you jump to thinking about daycare?
I didn't feel I had anything else to offer other than staying home and nurturing other children. And I figured it would give my daughter playmates. It would make it so she wasn't a spoiled, rotten single child. And I had to contribute to the household. My husband could not support us, so I had to do something. And I mean, I had a hard time leaving my dog when I got her, never mind a baby.
Right.
So the idea of leaving and going back to work had me in such a puddle that I started taking kids in.
Wow. Now, what happened between that and building a bookkeeping and business mentoring firm? Like, you must have done really well or something to build up the confidence to make that kind of a leap.
Well, I fought genetics is what happened. So my mom's was a bookkeeper. I was raised by a bookkeeper. She did her dad's books. He was a truck driver, which is where I get really comfy with the F word. And my aunt was a bookkeeper. My sister, there's so many, everybody's in the accounting. I fought it. And so I very naturally did the books for my daycare without a problem, to the point that my CPA was like, you missed your calling. Can you help my other daycare moms? And I was like, sure.
Oh,
And,
wow.
then shit hits the fan in life, and it became my bread and butter.
Really? The helping other daycare moms?
Yeah. My husband was a firefighter, and firefighters tend to have other jobs, right? Because they're typically have weird schedules and they do other things on their days off. So I went from helping other daycare moms to helping the firefighters with their extra business to helping, I'm in a small town. My vet needed help. It just had this strange domino effect to the point that I had to give up the daycare. I got so busy with doing bookkeeping, and I found that I liked it better than daycare.
As much as I can't stand bookkeeping, somehow it sounds easier than daycare to me.
Numbers don't whine. So,
Right.
there's no poopy diapers and throw up and snotty noses and all the things that as new moms, I'm like, oh, I don't miss that. Have fun.
Wow. So it was so organic the way your teaching and mentoring part. like, this is what I love about these entrepreneur stories. You couldn't have predicted this in a million years.
I never wanted to be a bookkeeper.
Right, and you never saw yourself as a business mentor.
No.
You started out working, you said in healthcare, and then, yeah, like, you were in a completely different job type of job.
I was a hospice nurse. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
And by the way, that's a lot to be a hospice nurse. I can't even imagine that.
It was beautiful and rewarding, lessons I learned about life and that served me well in over the years of the loss that I've endured. Hospice really taught me a lot. Would I go back to it? No.
Right. Now, when your husband got cancer, had you already started the bookkeeping and business mentoring business?
Yes and no. So I had this he was a firefighter, which meant in our tiny town, that meant he's also on call, right? So we only had 3 full-time members, and so he would work his shift, but then if the pager went off, he had to go. So I really had to be available. I couldn't rely on him to be with the kids. So the daycare shut down, the bookkeeping business was enough, but it had to revolve around being a mom, getting the kids on and off the bus and to dance and soccer. And so, I mean, I could only work for the 5 hours they were in school. So it's not like you can really build a, and back then, right, there wasn't any of you were going to people in person. There
Mhm.
wasn't this remoting thing, which I love. But it was driving to clients. And so by the time I got to the client, did the work and had to turn around and get my kids, you're looking at 4.5 hours that I could
Mm,
work a day. That doesn't provide a lot to build a business. So
right.
I had started it. It definitely supplemented our income, but it was a side hustle. It was
Did you see the potential of it at that point?
no,
Hmm,
no, not a clue.
wow.
What it's grown to has completely caught me off guard. Was not
Fascinating.
intentional.
Wow.
I've been very blessed, but I also love what I do, and I think that's part of it is I can't help it.
Well, maybe you can't help it, but also you have the right skill set. It sounds like it was a perfect match for you with what you love, what you're good at. And the organic part was so fascinating to see yourself helping other small business, people you knew, people that were local. It's such a different time now, right? Now with
Yeah.
Zoom. And when I first trained as a coach 10 years ago, it was Telesummit. Like there was no Zoom even
I
then.
remember that actually, yes. Telesummits
Yeah.
are great.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it did a good job, and then by the time I went for master coach training, it was on Zoom. But what happened with your husband? I'm so sorry.
So, we actually had split. Life with as a firefighter's wife is not easy. We had married very, very young, and we had split. He was not feeling well, and was his chief said, "You can't come back without a doctor's note," so we went, and, the doctor sent him to a surgeon who wanted to get an ultrasound, an MRI, and I'm looking at the scans, nursing background, going, I'm looking at a tumor. I said, "No, I can't be looking at a tumor. He's fine." Of course, I didn't wanna say it to him, but I'm looking at the scans, and I'm looking at the scans, and so we went, and we were looking at a tumor. And so from that was October 31st, and it was the size of it was 7 centimeters, which isn't that big unless you're trying to push a baby out.
Right?
Not that big, but by the time he went in for surgery, less than 3 weeks later, it was the size of a grapefruit.
Oh my god.
And it just grew and grew and grew and grew. And, it only lasted 10 months before it had spread to his lungs, his brain. The tumors were in his bones, and they were just exploding his bones. It was just they couldn't keep up on it.
I'm so sorry.
So it
Um,
definitely changed our trajectory
for
of
sure.
plans.
How old was your daughter then?
They were 8 and 11 when he passed.
Oh, 2 kids. Mhm.
2 girls, yep.
Wow. And what year was that?
It's gonna be 14 years ago.
Mm.
This August will be 14 years ago.
So I guess the pressure was on to figure out some way to make money.
So here's the funny thing, and this is why when I say to people, they come to me and I say, "No shame, no blame," because here I was a bookkeeper, and my husband handled all the money. Even when we were separated, he handled all the money. Of course, once I found out he was sick, it's water under the bridge, right? Move back in, doesn't matter. Nothing matters at that point. He still handled all the bills, all the money. The mortgage, yes, it was in our name, but it came from his bank account with a code to his phone out of his email that I had no access to. So I found out within a week after he passed that our house was going to be foreclosed on. My car was going to be repossessed. Our lights were going to get shut off. I didn't even have money to get my kids clothes for the funeral. I mean, my youngest wore a white dress because it was August, and I didn't have, she was barefoot. I didn't have money for shoes for her. And it was just, I had put my head in the sand. He didn't take my power. So many people say, oh, he took it. No, I gave it to him because I thought I was bad with money as a bookkeeper, because bookkeeping isn't taking care of money. Bookkeeping is tracking money. So I thought I was just not good at it.
Hmm.
And I had to get good at it
Real fast.
real fast, or I was going to lose everything.
But you were probably better at it than you thought.
You know, once you buckle down and take your head out of the sand, it's amazing what you can be good at if you choose to learn.
Wow, Krista, that is a fascinating story and I mean, it's not all midlife women, but when we grew up, there were so many messages about what we weren't capable of and what we should be
Mm.
doing. And
Yeah, the husband was, I mean, I was raised to be a good wife.
yeah,
Husband made the money and took care of it. It never occurred to me that I had, say, control, power, that I should have my own bank account. It never occurred to me.
it's fascinating because it wasn't that long ago. It's not like it was the 70s or 50s, you know?
No.
Fascinating, because here you
Mhm.
are, highly accomplished. You've got tons of skills. I know we all have insecurities, but clearly you've moved a few mountains. And to have to deal with it when you're grieving and your life blown up and just so sad and the kids and so much else, it's really something that you were able to take care of business,
That's why I
literally.
say I didn't need a spreadsheet, I needed a lifeline.
Right.
You know? Like, there's so many things that people are like, "Oh, you just, track 'em." No, no. I needed a lifeline. I needed somebody to tell me, and I wish I had somebody to tell me what to do, and that's where that's my why, right? The things I wish I had known, I am passionate about sharing. Looking back, what should I have done from the get-go? What do people need to know so that they can, especially in business, how do we control that money? The difference between profit and cash flow is a huge one. And it's not that we're lazy. It's not that we're ignorant. It's not that we're irresponsible. I wasn't. I was overwhelmed. I was ashamed. I was grieving. And we aren't taught, even today in school, we are not taught about cash flow, about taxes, about business types. We aren't taught about any of that. And, the tax code was written for business owners. Why aren't we taught that? Why aren't we
Great
taught?
question.
Like, there, especially in America, right? In America, the tax code was written for business owners. Why aren't we utilizing it to the best of our advantage to keep more of our hard-earned money?
And also, just that you shared that you thought you were bad with money. I know, obviously, for so many of us, there's shame with that,
Mhm.
but we've never even had the opportunity to see if we're good at money. Like, we just don't, and it might not even be true, but you just,
Right?
yeah, it's something. Mindset is so powerful, and most people don't have clear awareness of what they're thinking anyway. Like, it's a skill. You have to develop the skill to notice what you're thinking and to even be aware that it's a good idea to be aware of what you're thinking.
Well, as I say, you can't change what you don't look at.
Right.
And so many people come to me ashamed and embarrassed, like, "Oh, I haven't touched it." I'm like, "You're not alone. Most people haven't touched it. Most people haven't looked." But once we do look, I mean, I just had a meeting on yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday, and I new client, and I'm looking through, and I know she wasn't set up to be the right entity. And we're going to save her over $30,000 in taxes just by putting her in the right tax type, the
Wow.
right type of business entity. And I showed her how and what we need to do. We saved just over $29,000 just by changing her business entity.
She must have passed out.
She thought that I was lying. I was like, "This can't be true." And I said, "Well, I have a CPA coming on because I collaborate with CPAs." I said, "I have a CPA coming on, and he's going to show you in the tax software exactly to the penny." I said, "I'm estimating 25." It was 29,800 and something.
Wow.
And he said, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "We need to change your entity." People don't even know that there are entity types for taxes. And there were so many ways that if we look that we could save. I admit that even as a bookkeeper, after Scott passed, I didn't do my taxes for 5 years. I was petrified that I would owe money, petrified, money I didn't have. I couldn't put my lights on, never mind pay taxes. And when push came to shove and I had to do them, it turns out I would have got a refund, and I lost out on some of that refund because it sunsets, right? There's only so many years you can go back. I lost out on getting that refund that would have helped me and my kids. So I delved into learning everything I could about taxes. Because I was like,
Wow.
I'll be damned if I'll let anybody else leave money on the table like that.
Right. What a great why, Krista. What a great why.
You gotta shoot yourself in the foot to learn how to bandage it.
Well, you can't know what you don't know. So
Right?
when did you start to feel like you had something to offer? Like, when did your confidence start to change about your business direction?
Um, when I started realizing that people were coming to me with their taxes, and I was helping the CPA identify areas that there was more savings. When women were coming to me, I help men too, but I prefer working with women. It's just a different type of work. It's collaborative versus me getting told what to do, what's
Mhm.
needed. It's way more collaborative. So working with women and helping them with all of the lessons that I learned the hard way and saying it in everyday language, not in what I call accountant speak, it became really exciting to see the aha moments. And that's when I realized I can help people more than just doing their books. Bookkeeping can be very, like a wallflower, right? You're not noticed. But when you actually step up and look deeper and see where people are struggling, that's when you can be of service, real service.
Wow. When was that?
I would say, I think it was when my youngest got her license and I felt like, okay, I'm free to roam about the country, right? All of a sudden now I don't have to run two kids in multiple directions, one of me in two different directions because they could run themselves. I felt free to spread my wings.
So how many years ago was that?
Emily's 22 now. So yeah, it's 6 years ago that I started to say, all right, I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm going to stop being afraid of being seen, afraid of being heard. A lot of self-judgment because I'm a plus size woman and I had a lot of self-judgment. Do still struggle about being seen and judged. And I was like, people are going to judge me anyway. Might as well now I'm going to be judged about at least helping people. So I decided, I think, you know what? It's right when you're about to turn 50.
Mhm.
When
That's when everything it went down for me the year I turned 50.
you don't care anymore what people think. Well, you realize life is too short.
Mhm. Time sensitivity, time urgency, it kinda sizzles, it's like, "Ooh, I can't look at this the same way anymore. My midlife lens has different priorities."
And then I had a woman come to me about co-authoring a book, and I thought it was a scam. And my best friend at the time was a man, and lost him to COVID, unfortunately. But he
Oh.
challenged me, and he was like, "You're not just a bookkeeper. Why are you playing small? What's it gonna hurt? Do it." And so I did, and I found that I really do love to share. I like getting up in front of especially a group of women and sharing that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know it all. But what you do know and what you do have to offer is needed. But don't let having a business run you into the ground. Because if you don't take care of business with your money, you won't have one. And so for me, helping them keep their money, not going down because it goes out the window faster than you can get it in. Um, and how do we control that cash flow? How do we manage that money so that you can have a business that serves you and not just a job that you created for yourself? And that's been a lot of fun to do.
Is that your main positioning when you sell yourself? Sell your services?
No, my main positioning is making so you keep more money in your pocket, um, and to want me, not need me. I make it so you don't need me anymore. I'd rather show you how to do your own books because then you're going to value what I do. And so that I can bring more insight, not just for your bookkeeping, but for your overall cash flow and tax savings and connect you to the people that can help. Um, I sell myself on my passion is what it is. When I talk to somebody and I can see their books and I can be like, "Ooh, did you know if you did this, this, and this? And I'll give away I won't even try and sell myself. They come back to me because I'll give away that information on the call.
Wow.
I can't help it because I see things I know that people could do. I'm like, here's 3 to 5 takeaways from what I'm looking at that you can do right now to help yourself.
Well, I'd wanna hire you if you gave me all that stuff and all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I want more."
Well, I just saw, a woman 2 weeks ago, and I was looking through her books, and I helped her find fraud.
Oh my god.
Turns out, she has an employee stealing from her, not a small amount of money, and she didn't see it, and I questioned, and she went back, and we went deeper, and we're looking at $75,000 this year, and,
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah, so the untrained eye, like, I can see that where you know exactly what you're looking for and you know exactly what questions are important, and, a lot of entrepreneurs, we're just too busy to care about that minutia, we're trying to help our clients.
yep. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you didn't get in business to be a bookkeeper, so it gets
No,
put to the bottom of the list, right? It's the
always.
last thing you wanna do, and for me, it's the number one thing you can do to keep more money.
Yeah, so good. So what would you say, that you've noticed about being an older woman, an older and wiser woman, and how that affects being an entrepreneur? I know one thing you did mention is you feel like you care less about what people think. Tell me more about that.
I have found that I feel like I'm just getting started now that I'm older. I feel like the passion for it has been lit. I'm not held back by having to shuffle my children or, I had my oldest has a heart condition that made it so there were days I had to bag out on my client and not show up and be like, sorry. And, not being in that position anymore where I really can go all out is great. Dealing with mostly women, 99% of my clientele now is women, and having a hot flash, they get it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
commiserate, or I can understand and not be ruffled that I have a mom nursing, or there's a baby in the background or a toddler making noise. I'm like, "You don't need to apologize. It doesn't bother me. I built my business with noise in the back. I'm good.
Right,
Don't
right, and
worry."
what about being, less tolerant and less gullible? You said that in your notes, and it really stood out. I love that you said that. I've also noticed this less tolerance of certain things because life's too short. Like, I'm not gonna be, with this thing that is ridiculous longer than I need to be, but less gullible, I found fascinating. Was that really about what you noticed about your own books?
Um, Gullible with being taken advantage of, and
Oh.
yeah, I made some really dumb mistakes with men, um, that my children learned from that they will not do. They definitely are not repeating my mistakes. So gullible with, not getting a contract in the beginning. Now I start with a contract. If we're gonna engage in services, I get it in writing. Trusting that eventually I'll get paid.
Oh, mhm,
Right, right.
mhm.
I still love I don't consider it gullible to give away information because I don't like to, gatekeep it all. I intentionally give away, but I don't give away services. And I learned a very hard lesson that I went to court because they strung me along. So it was a startup. And it's funny, it was one of the soccer dads that my kids played soccer with. He knew my situation and he kept saying, "Oh, yeah, I'll pay you, I'll pay," and we went 6 months, right? Meanwhile, he's encroaching on other clients. He's like, "I'm in trouble." So I ended up saying, "I'm not giving you any more work unless you pay me." He actually threatened me. I sued him. The judge liked my work so much, he hired me for his law firm after everything was settled. He saw all of the notes I had. I had the text messages, I had the emails, I had the phone records, I you name it, I had it. And he goes, "You have attention to detail." Goes, "Why didn't you have a contract? Why did you let it go?" And this was again after everything was settled. And I now can't just trust at face value. It used to be a handshake. Can't do that anymore. Especially now that it's not just my local businesses that are in this tiny town are like friends. To have somebody who I thought was a friend take advantage of me, that was one of the harshest lessons I learned.
That does sound quite harsh. So you've done a lot. What would you like to focus on next in your business? Like we think and you let your entrepreneurial mind float around a little bit and think about what you could do. What comes up?
So I've started it. I'm a bit of a daredevil and I had a little four-wheeling accident. So now I have a new collarbone. Uh,
Oh,
Learned that it's not fair to me or my clients that I never get to take time off. And as they were rolling me into the emergency room for surgery, and I have my phone in my hand because I needed to release payroll so that my clients, people could get paid. I'm like, I need a team. So I've decided to start building out support for me. So it's no longer me, just me. I have a little bit of support. And it also allows me to do more of the mentoring, more of the support in the cash flow as opposed to the bookkeeping itself.
mhm.
Still love bookkeeping. I will never get away from a good reconciliation. I do love to reconcile a checkbook.
It's so funny because I've asked bookkeepers this before because it's something that I find really terrible. It always cracks me up because I'm like, bookkeepers must love their work. I bet it's like a puzzle, and that's what I hear. It's like a puzzle. And I never liked puzzles. That's not my thing.
Don't give me a jigsaw puzzle, but knowing where things go, because bookkeeping isn't about math. I actually failed math in college twice.
Wow.
Bookkeeping isn't math. Bookkeeping is knowing where to classify things. Is it an expense or is it an asset? Is it a liability? Like, where does it go? And that's where the puzzle comes in because don't give me a jigsaw puzzle. I will throw it in the fire. It'll frustrate me. But knowing where to put things properly, that's the puzzle. And then when you run the reports and you see, okay, does this make sense? Why doesn't it make sense? What's off here? Let's compare it to last year. What's changed and why? What's going on? The people that work so hard but there's no money in the bank. They're like, but the profit says all this. Why? Why do you have a profit and loss that shows you all this money, but it's not in your bank? Let's figure that out. Way to go.
Yeah, that's a different kind of puzzle. You're right. So building a team. So do you see what's your goal? Is it like vacation motivated, or do you see yourself working outside your office?
So I love my she shed. I have the cutest little she shed in the world.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, I absolutely worst commute, right, 20 feet from my house, but I actually get to leave everything in here and then go home. My goal, my daughter is a CPA now, and she would love to come back to bookkeeping. She misses bookkeeping. This is where she started, was with me. And she did it so well that she ended up getting her master's before she was even 22,
Wow.
but she misses it. And so I would like to get in the position to be able to bring her back to oversee the bookkeepers so that I can do more of the client one-on-ones. That would be my perfect picture, is that this business is successful enough to be able to afford my daughter because she makes a lot of money as an auditor for a private firm. She makes very good money at her age. I would love to be able to afford to hire her and have, I always said, a tribe of women, and my team works from home. They are single moms working from home, um, and able to support themselves and their children because they can work when and how they want and make
Mm.
a good enough paycheck. And to me, if I can grow that and share that so that they can make enough to support themselves, that's exciting.
Oh, it sure is. So, Krista, you've shared a lot. Your story, is so powerful about turning tragedy into motivation and how your personal experience just really guided you. So good. How can people best get in touch with you? And I know you have a freebie that's quite exciting. Tell us more.
So you can find me on Instagram, EM Bookkeeping Solutions, and Facebook. You can go to my website as well, embookkeepingsolutions.com. Wish I had thought about my name before all this internet stuff, but live and learn. Um, sorry, it's actually embookkeeping.com.
And of course, I'll put those links in the show notes.
I
Go ahead.
shortened it when I got smart. But yes, I have a freebie, 10 ways to keep more money, more of your business money in your pocket. And it was me, the menopause hot flashes. So I'm up at 2 in the morning and I said, oh, you know what? A lot of people need to know they want to keep more money. It's not about making more money. It's about keeping more money, right? Making more money sometimes takes more money to make money and more time. So how do we just keep more money? So I
Mm.
did that last night because, when you get struck with something, you just got to do it because you're not going back to sleep until it's out of your brain.
Oh, we know that.
That was me at 2 a.m. So yeah, 10 ways to keep more of your business money. And if you get stuck, if you have questions, feel free to shoot me a link through a DM through Facebook or through Instagram. And I love to answer questions and give people insights and helpful hints. And if you want a free consult, you can, there's a link that you can just book a time with me. And, I do limit my calendar. Otherwise, that's all I would do all day. And I would love it, but I do still have to earn. So I like to give you, ways that you can actually help based on your issues, your setting, your money. And so I like to customize that.
That sounds like such a great resource. Can you give us the link on how to find it?
So it's bit.ly, Krista's 10 Ways to Save, and I'll spell that out. bit.ly/Krista's, Kristas, 10 WAYS.
Great. So it's bit.ly / Krista's 10 Ways. Amazing. And of course, I'll have this link in the show notes, which will make it easy to find. Thank you so much, Krista. Thank you. This was really, really great interview. I just appreciate how far you've come. And also, I really appreciate how authentic and honest you were about some of the thoughts and feelings that you had about your own relationship with money. You've overcome a lot and you're doing great work in the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You're a joy.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. So that is it for now. If you're listening and loving what you hear, please like and subscribe. Reviews are great too and much appreciated. And if you're a woman in the middle who's 50 or over and an entrepreneur and would also like to come on the show, please go to www.midlifeinterviews.com and fill out an application. We'd love to have you on to share your story. Thanks so much for listening. It's never too late for you to put yourself on your agenda. I'm Suzy Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you again soon. Now, real quick, before we say goodbye, if you are connecting with the show and are finally ready to make some changes to regret-proof your life, I want to invite you to apply for the Women in the Middle Academy. It's my transformational midlife group coaching program to help you get clear about what's getting in your way so you can get on with the good stuff. Head over to www.womeninthemiddleacademy.com. Talk soon.